الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. All praise due to Allah and His praise and blessings and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companions and his followers until the day of judgment. I bear witness that Allah is the only one worthy of worship and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam his last and final messenger. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the common themes in the Quran is the theme about children, offsprings. That's why the word ذرية, which it means offsprings, هذه الكلمة تكررت في أكثر من 30 موضعا من القرآن, almost 32 times repeated, 19 different chapters. And this points to the significance of the word ذرية and the concept of that. But today I'm not here as many people expect. When you hear the word children, offsprings, immediately the khutbah is going to be talking about how to raise them, how to take care of them, how to provide for them, how to make sure that they raise in a good Muslim, good environment, etc. Which is, I do believe this is important as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the responsibility upon us as parents to take care of our children. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا قَالَ عَلَيَّ يعني عَلِّمُوهُم. Basically, when Allah says in the Quran, protect your family and children from the hellfire, Ali radiallahu anhu to teach them Islam, which will protect them from hellfire. وجاء في مصنف عبد الرزاق بإسناد لا بأس به أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال علموا أولادكم حسن الأدب وحسن الخلق. It was reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, teach your children good manners and good etiquettes. But today I would like to approach this from a different perspective, from a different angle. Looking at it with a different lens. Children are very pure creatures. They still have so much of the fitrah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have created human beings upon. So many qualities that I think us as adults in dear need of looking at it, remember it, because we were children, we were young at one point in our life. And we see them around us. Something that it can be very beneficial for us today to think and to reflect upon. A father once saw a child, his own kid, having 2 apples. So he said, give me one of them. So the kid quickly started taking a bite from both. So he said to his kids, immediately the father thing kicked in. He wanted to teach him. He said sharing and caring and importance of sharing. And they said, Dad, actually I was trying to see which one's sweeter to give it to you. He said, at that point I realized that, you know what? I shouldn't jump the gun. I shouldn't rush to judge. I should learn how to have good faith in others. My son taught me a lesson that he said, I share it with the world today. There's so much we can learn from our children and the children around us. And today I will pick up whatever the time allowed me of important points to think about. Children do not give up easily. They are goal-oriented, having a tremendous amount of perseverance. Obstacles are ignored, and they focus on their goals until they get what they want. All often, us as adults allow the challenges that we face in life to make us give up our goals. But I will say even farther point. So many people who are adults, even as young as in their 20s and 30s, 40s, and moving on. A lot of us as adults, we have no clarity about goals in life anymore. We don't have dreams as we used to have when we were younger. It is so sad to say that so many of us discover where we are headed when we arrive, upon arrival. That's the reality. You don't really know where you're going. There is no clarity of what you want to accomplish, what you want to achieve. And take this in every aspect of your life. Look, for example, many people tell me, I want to improve my relationship with the Quran. Then I said, what exactly what you want? What's your goal to achieve with the Quran? Is my goal to finish the Quran, for example, to read Khatm al-Quran every month, one time? One Khatma every month or every 2 months. Okay, that will require for me to do what? To read after each salah, for example. If you do after each 5 salah, 8 pages, you will finish the Quran every month once. And that's basically, I have a clarity. You know what? I need to memorize. I need to increase my memorization of the Quran. I have clarity on what I want, but that's mediocre talk. I want to improve my relationship with the Quran. And there is no real effort to make these changes. Look at Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah يقول, I struggled, قال عاكابدت قيام الليل 20 سنة ثم متعني الله به 20 سنة. I struggled for 20 years to be able to stand up in the middle of the night and to pray and to make qiyam al-layl. But after 20 years of struggle, I enjoyed it another 20 years after that. Or I enjoyed it 20 years after that. It's clarity what you want. كان الإمام ابن قدامة رحمه الله يقول كنت أدعو الله أن يرزقني الله صلاة الإمام أحمد. I ask Allah to help me to be like Imam Ahmad, because Imam Ahmad was known of his committed to prayer. They estimate that sometimes he would pray in the day 300 rak'ahs, rahimahullah. Anytime he have a chance, he will pray. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah has a clarity. قال سألت الله وأنا أشرب زمزم مرارا أن يجعلني كالذهبي. He said many times when I drink them, I said, Ya Rab, make me like Imam al-Dhahabi, to contribute to the science of hadith. قال ثم بعد فترة من الزمان تمنيت أني سألت الله من هو فوق الذهب حيث وصلت مرتبته وزيادة فيما أظن. Is basically some people that when you look at successful people in life, they have clarity on what they want. You know, your relationship with Allah. Now Ramadan is coming not far away from us. What's the plan? What's the goal? What you want to achieve? And in every aspect of your life, even to the most simple thing. Many young men and women, I asked them, they told me, Sheikh, I want to get married. Okay, great. Who you want to marry? He said, a good sister. I know you marry your sister. Yeah, a good sister. What do you? Yeah, but what exactly are you looking for? A brother. I know he's a brother. Kida. There is no clarity. People have no clarity on what they want to achieve. You know, even in their finance and in their all aspects. And look at not only individual, look at us as organizations, as communities. When you ask, what's the community, the Muslim community of San Diego want to achieve? What's the community of this center want to achieve? What are the goals that we want to achieve in the next 2 or 3 or 5 years? Other than just the expansion and buildings. What do you want to see in my community as a leader? These are important and essential questions that we should ask ourselves. We should be a community that's driven by goals and dreams. But all often our community, many times, driven by problems and challenges. You all know, and I'm familiar with Martin Luther King, with his famous speech when he said what? I have a dream, that's right. Can you imagine Martin Luther King that day said, and instead of I have a dream, he said, I have a problem. Or we have a problem. Yes, we do have a problem. Yes, he had a problem. But he never allowed problems to be the one that driven him every day and every night. And driven his movement and his basically what he was struggling for. And we should not allow us as a community, as an individual, to be driven by our problems. And that's often happen when we don't have clarity on what dreams and goals we want to achieve. So we will become distracted. One of the famous techniques Islamophobes use against us as Muslims is always make us in a defense position. Always try to say what we are not. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I never get the chance to tell the world what I am, what I stand for, what I am dream about, what can I offer. And that's a very big difference between the two approaches. When do we stop dreaming? When in your life you have given up your dreams, your goals. You know who the one who don't dream? Dead people. Living people, they always dream. They always have things that they struggle for. Because life without these dreams are very boring life. Can you imagine, guys, a basketball game or a football game, soccer game, any one of these games, and let's take the goals out. There is no ring to score. There is no goal to score in. Just take the goals out, and the whole game will be just passing the ball to each other. What do you think? Would we have NBA? We have MLS? We will have NBA? We would have all these NFL? We will have all these World Cup and all this kind of games and excitement. No, it became the most boring sports ever exist because there is no goals. That's exactly how your life looks like when you don't have clarity in goal or goals in your life. Goals allowed you to stand for something, to live for something. Goals allowed you to basically to be motivated to achieve what we want. Us as Muslims, our biggest goal every day when we wake up من أصبح والآخرة أكبر همه. That the akhirah is my biggest concern, my biggest goal. Yes, but that should not stop also us from having other goals in life to achieve. In every area in my life, and we became more of a goal-oriented, and we pursue these goals. Because your value determined based on what you live for. Your years, the count numbers of your years doesn't really matter how long you live. What really matters, what you live for, what you stand for. That's why the Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the ulama and the great people that we hear with their life, is not about the numbers of years in their lives. It's about how much life in their years. Umar ibn al-Aziz did not die in young man, in his late 30s or 40s. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, the leader of all the scholars, يأتي يقدم العلماء يوم القيامة برتوة حجر, died in his 30s. He comes in the day of judgment ahead of every scholar that this ummah ever produced. Died in his 30s. It's about what you contribute, what you stand for. I heard a wise man said once, we are like zeros. The value of you is like the value of the zeros comparing to the numbers. Where a zero stands, that's where it matters. You have number 1, you put 1 0 after the 1, that became 10. 2 zeros became 100. But put 100 zeros before 1, 0 means nothing. Where you stand and what you stand for, what will determine the value of you as an individual, us as a community. That's why it's so important to keep that in mind. You know, life will throw on you so much dirt, so much difficulties. يا أيها الإنسان إنك كادح إلى ربك كدحا. O mankind, you will struggle and struggle and struggle in this life. من عجيب ما قيل في تفسير هذه الآية. One of the amazing things about تفسير this verse, أن بعض المفسرين قالوا يا أيها الإنسان يعني يا محمد، وإنما الخطاب خص بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لكن اللفظ جاء عام للأمة أو للناس جميعا. It says, some of the scholars said that this particular verse, actually it was meant for the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. يعني you will have so much difficulties and challenges in life. What's the point? The point is, if Muhammad ﷺ will struggle and have challenges in life, everybody else should expect the same. Because he's the dearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَغَيْرُهُ يَكُونْ مِنْ بَابِ أَوْلَى. In any case, that's when you have goals, these challenges of life, that's what keep that light in the end of the tunnel. You keep going, you keep going, you keep basically always want to achieve what you want. And you use these challenges to rise you. I live in Texas, and in Texas, people like you guys, a lot of people think San Diego is famous of water and marinas and like life, and that's pretty true. But you guys have more farms than anyone else. So you farmers, like the city where I live in Texas, one of those farmers had a crack in his farm. His little dog fell inside the crack. It was very sad. And he decided to close that crack and animals will ever hurt again. So he got the sand, took the shovel, start filling this crack with dirt. But the dog was not dead, was just unconscious, weak. Realize what's happening. See this sand's coming on the top of the dog's back. But the dog's smart. What he did, every time he see the sand coming down, he shake it off and he jump on the top of the sand. Shake it off, jump on the top of the sand. Shake it off, jump until the sand that meant to bury that animal alive was the reason to risen it. And gave them life and got him out of the trouble. These challenges in life, it can be the reason for you to grow stronger, not weaker. But that always happens when you are motivated by these goals in life. Another thing quickly, you know, it's interesting to see how kids before going to school, their fitrah teach them being wrong it means an opportunity to learn. But in school, they taught us being wrong, it means being bad. Doing something wrong, it means you did something bad. But the fitrah that they have doing something wrong, it means something I can learn from. SubhanAllah, this concept is so important for us as adults. So many of us have given up hope because we failed 1 and 2 and 3 times. It's never ever about, I think Muhammad Ali once said, it's not about never been knocked down. It's about your ability to stand up every time somebody knock you down. That's what success is. And for Islam, we have a very beautiful concept called التوبة, repentance. حتى اختلف أهل العلم الرجل بعد التوبة هو في مقام يعادله قبل ما كان عليه قبل الذنب أم دونه أم فوقه. The scholar debate, after you repent to Allah, do you go back to the same level where you at before the sin, or higher or lower? And many of the ulama rahimahullah said it's higher, and it makes perfect sense. Why? Because the tawbah will erase the sin, so you go back to your status. But the tawbah in itself is an act of worship that Allah loves, that add to you more value so you become higher. What can be more positive attitude than this? What can motivate you more than this? Our mistake should never stop us from trying again. Other people's mistakes should never stop you from trust them again and give them a second chance. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was so mad and angry at Usama bin Zayd, who he loved so much. When he killed someone after that man said, La ilaha illallah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was furious actually at him. لكن قال أقتلته بعد أن قالها؟ قال يا رسول الله استغفر لي. يقول أسامة قال فما استغفر لي؟ قال لي أقتلته بعد أن قالها. I said, Ya Rasulullah, please pray for forgiveness. Please ask Allah to forgive me. And Nabi Sallallahu turned his face and he said, you killed him after he said La ilaha illallah, and he never prayed for him. 2-3 years later, after this particular incident, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will send Usama to lead an army to north of Arabia. Usama's mistakes never stopped him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from trusting him again, giving him a second chance. Making mistakes is better than faking perfections. Another thing I love about children, their ability to adjust. When I moved to a new home, my kids were the first one to know the neighbors, to know everything in the house, the attic, the backyard. Baba, there is this, there is that. So quickly to adjust. That's so beautiful. What a great quality the person can have. So many of us adults lost that skill. And I want to tell you, for us as individuals, as family, as community, it's 101 biology. If you don't know how to adjust, you belong to Jurassic Park. You belong to museums. You don't belong to future. Those who belong to the future, the one who knows how to adjust. That's one of the beautiful things about our Sharia. As much as it has very solid foundation. إن شريعتنا فيها ثوابت محكمة لكنها فيها من المرونة والسعة والقدرة على معاصرة الواقع ومتطلبات ومتغيرات الواقع ما يتعجب منه الإنسان. The Sharia, as much as it's very principle, it's also very flexible. Fits every time and every location. We don't have a problem. I don't need to change my Islam because I live in America, because I live in San Diego. I don't need to change my sunnah of the sunnah of Muhammad because I live in the 21st century. It has its own flexibility and ability to adjust. And that's something so beautiful. We need to learn how to do that. Some of us don't have the same job that we used to have before. You know what? You need to downsize your expenses. You didn't need this fancy, TVs and all these channels that you prescribe in, and you lose money and you lose time and you lose even khair and ajr. Adjust. I can't offer this anymore. You know what? I need to learn new skills, a new job. To land a new job. I can't just be stuck in the past. A man told me, Sheikh, I've been looking for a job for the last 5 years. I couldn't find it. I said, why is that? You have a PhD in chemistry, don't you? He said, yes, I have a PhD in chemistry, but I only master one formula, and I've been looking for a company who uses this formula, and no company uses it anymore. I said, for sure, learn a new thing. Try to discover things new that you can do. Adjust to the new situation. So many times we don't understand. You know what? Your kid next to you, your kid is not anymore that elementary school, like 3rd grade kids. No. Your son and your daughter are teenagers. That's a completely different game. That's a completely different approach. You know what? Your daughter, she's a married woman. She has children. Your son is not that single man who's sitting home or with you all the time, college boy. No. Your son is married, has job, has responsibilities. You need to adjust to learn that there's a different way and a different level of communications. You have to understand that change that happened. You know what? You're not single anymore. You're a married man. Your wife has right. Your husband has right. Your children have right on you. You have to adjust to the new situation you're living in. And so forth. We are in the 21st century. We have new things, new challenges, new things that require from us to adjust ourselves to it. And so forth. It is very important for us to learn how to live that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wisdom and the ilm. قولوا ما سمعتم واستغفروا الله لي ولكم استغفروا. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. Let me wrap this up quickly with 2 quick points. Maybe some homework you need to do to explore more about children. One thing about children that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted them with, they're happy creatures. You know, an average child laughs about 200 times a day. 200 times a day. While an average adult laughs about 12 to 14 times a day. And sometimes I feel some of our communities even less than that. I travel a lot. And I'm telling you, so many communities when I go, all they see, just people staring at you, checking you out, with a very serious dead face. Why? I don't need John, or I don't need non-Muslims or psychologists to tell me about how important smile is. All what I need to look at what my sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu telling me. How many companions said every time I met the Prophet he was smiling. I never saw the Prophet unless he was smiling, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He always smiled. Aisha said at home he used to laugh the most and smile the most. What happened? What happened to so many of us as we grow older? We became kind of borderline grumpy people. Polish your smile. The good news is your smile didn't go anywhere. It's just right under your nose. Just smile. Let's make this, I'll make a deal with Sheikh Taha and Sheikh Abdul Jalil. We'll make this masjid, this center, the most smiley, friendly place in the whole entire San Diego area. Let's make a deal with you guys. Anytime you see in this center someone without smile, give him one of yours. It's one of the most contagious things. It doesn't make the people around you happy. It makes you happy and get your reward. You heard the Sheikh telling that I'm part and a member of fatwa committees. You didn't need even to be in a fatwa committee to tell you that your teeth is not awra. You can show it. It's okay. Just be happy. See how this will change you from inside. And that's the homework I want you to do. In my hometown, there is this hospital, it's called St. Luke Hospital. They are the leading hospitals in medical, when it comes to healing through laughter. They invented this, they started this, and it became worldwide today. Just Google it, read about it. Read how important, how good for you. How good for your skin. And guess what? Smiling and laughing much cheaper than Botox. And it keep you fresh. And it keep your immune system strong. And fight stress. Let me end with this. Kids are very also active creatures. You know, I'll be downstairs. I'll call my son, Omar, from upstairs. Then Omar come all over and, yes, Baba, get me the remote control. What? Yeah, it's free labors, that's right, your kids. Why don't you go get your own thing? It's okay to serve your dad, but it's okay, it is also better for you to serve yourself. Anas said the Prophet never asked me to do anything for him. He will be active, sallallahu. It's about you being active. And that's so important for you to stay active and to stay healthy. This body is an amana that Allah giving it to you. And staying, that's the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, كان يقول أعوذ بك من العجز والكسل. Ya Rab, protect me from being lazy. Unfortunately, we have people so lazy. Even someone, brother, you know, pick him up from the airport, said, Sheikh, I'm having a hard time to convince someone to go out on the weekend. Sometimes I feel our community highly motivated to do nothing. You know, to be just relaxing, chilling, couch lovers. And I'll say to those people who used to be active and not anymore active going out, go back to be active. المؤمن القوي أحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. Strong mu'min is loved by Allah more. And part of the strength is physical strength. Can't end the khutbah without saying there is so much to be talked about. But this khutbah inspired by my visit to your community after a long time. And I used to come to this masjid more than decades ago. Beautiful faces I've seen so far when I came in, you know, remind me of things that beautiful people that I met here. But I'm so happy and glad to come back to speak in a fundraising dinner, inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow, that's very much related to what we're talking about today, which is at care event, inshallah ta'ala. But the point for me is make sure that we reflect upon this. It's important to stay strong. And with this note, we end, inshallah ta'ala, but without forgetting to pray for our brothers and sisters in Libya and Morocco. Now, what happened there is just a tragedy that can't be described with words. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. Allahumma altuf bi ikhwanina fi Libya wal Maghrib. Allahumma altuf bihim ya hayy ya qayyum. Allahumma altuf bihim ya hayy ya qayyum. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم آوي من لا مأوى له وواسي من فقد حبيبه وقريبه يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم اخلف على المتضررين. اللهم اجمع كلمة أهل تلك البلاد على الحق والهدى ويسر لهم أسباب الخير يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم ارحم موتاهم وشافي وعافي مرضاهم ومبتلاهم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام واجمع بين شتاتهم يا حي يا قيوم. اللهم اخلف عليهم بخير. اللهم اخلف عليهم بخير. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام من شر الفتن. اللهم ادرأ عنا وعن بيوتنا وعن أولادنا وعن جاليتنا وعن المسلمين وعن الناس يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى وآت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم إنا أسألك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام أن تبارك في هذا الجمع وهذا المسجد وهذا الجمع المبارك ومن يقوم على هذا المسجد يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم صب عليهم الخير صبا صبا واجمع كلمتهم على الهدى والحق ونور قلوبهم ويسر أمورهم وأغنهم بفضلك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وقوموا للصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واعتدلوا تقاربوا لا يكن بينكم فرج. Straighten the line and come closer to one another. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our salat, our dua, and our good deeds. Ameen. And on your behalf, Jazallahu khairan, our khatib today for this strong reminder that requires a lot of reflection, inshallah. So a few announcements. Tonight's Tafsir al-Quran lecture will be after Salat al-Maghrib. We started last week with Surah al-Hujurat, so please join us. The youth program tonight after Maghrib as usual with all the levels. Care San Diego invites you to attend the annual banquet tomorrow, Saturday, September 16th. For more information, there are flyers outside, posters, and there is a table so you can buy your ticket if you didn't do it yet. So let's get, inshallah, behind Care San Diego, attend and show support. Jazakumullah khair. The ICSD Quran Hifz and Tilawa for kids program will start this coming Monday the 18th. The registration is open on ICSD website. We had yesterday between Maghrib and Isha orientation session for the parents. If you didn't attend, you can always contact the office and ask. There are posters outside, and you can register your kids from 5 years old and older online, inshallah. Be mindful. Please be mindful when you park your car in the street. We have recently received some complaints. Again, just most recently, another complaint about one of our brothers just parking and blocking the driveway of our neighbor. So please, brothers and sisters, do your best to not to block the driveways of people and be respectful and mindful. For more information about ICSD programs, please visit icsd.org, our website. And we received a request from the family of Muhammad Sulaiman. He is at ICU. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him a speedy recovery, al-shifa al-ajil. And also Fayruza Farouk, diagnosed with terminal cancer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her shifa and bring them back safe to their families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease their situation. All the Muslims who are sick, may Allah give them shifa. All the Muslims who passed away, may Allah give them rahmah. Ameen. Jazakumullahu khair.